It started out with an idea to make a documentary.
Now, with over 60 interviews completed and more to record, it's time to listen fully.
These are the stories from those who experienced the Young Religious Unitarian Universalist program.
Hello and welcome to episode 14. My name is Lindsay Cattle-LaPointe.
And I'm Naomi Cooker. We met so many wonderful young people through our interviews and are delighted to feature 3 of them in this episode.
Caelan Schrama we met while visiting the YES conference on Star Island. YES is an acronym for Youth Empowerment and Spirituality. Our boat was set to leave just hours before we sat down with Caelan.
The second young person you will hear from is Kerri Bell-Delgado. Kerri came up to our booth at the Unitarian Universalist General Assembly in Portland, Oregon, back in 2022. We love the idea of getting a current young person's take on being a Unitarian Universalist.
Finally, we have Atticus Fisher, who is the child of Ginger Young Fisher, whose interview you will hear in a separate episode. Atticus at the time was highly involved in YRUUP, and as their website says, a youth-run organization dedicated to providing fun, safe, and spiritual programs for UU youth in the Pacific Western region of the United States.
This trio of voices lifts up the youth's voices of today. YRUU may have ended nationally, but the work and enthusiasm has remained in many parts of the country still.
My name is Caelan Schrama, and on Island I go by Kay.
Where do you live?
Where do I live? Currently I live in Savannah, Georgia, but I am from Taunton, Massachusetts.
Where are we right now?
We are right behind Gosport on Star Island. Favorite place in the world.
Why is Star Island the greatest place in the world?
Greatest place in the world? Well, put aside like the beauty and the location, it's the greatest because of the conference that congregates here every year.
So tell me about YES. So you're here at a YES conference.
Yes.
Could you please tell me what the acronym means and what this conference is?
Of course. So this conference is YES, stands for Youth Empowerment and Spirituality. It is a conference based on Unitarian Universalist fundamentals and focuses a lot with spirituality, and just it is run by the youth for the youth, mainly.
What does youth empowerment mean to you?
So I define youth empowerment with just us taking charge with our responsibilities in running this conference. Like, we have adults here, we have Rev Dave, we have our yearly adult advisors that love to cycle through, but they're not here to run the show. They're not in charge. They're not in charge here. They're here for liability reasons. They're here because, like, the law says they need to be. But in total, it's never been run, in the entirety of YES, it's never been run by the adults. It's been by the conferees who love this place and love to see it blossom and flourish throughout the years.
Could you, so how long have you been coming? When did you first come to Star Island?
So I first came here in 2016. I used to do youth group Unitarian Universalist cons in the BDC Duluth Channing district of Massachusetts, and that's where I actually knew a lot of these people before YES, and like the people I did meet here, like, they're still very good friends, but I've known a lot of these people with almost 10 years right now. There's some people who came to YES before, and in 2015 they pitched Star They got everybody at a bridging con to just come up and be like, hey, do you like cons? Do you like seeing your buddies? Do you want that to be a week long and way more spiritually fulfilling? Come to Star Island for yes.
How old are you?
I am 22 this year. I will be 23 the 25th of August this year. It's exciting.
What does that mean in terms of, and could you say, so just tell us a little bit about yes, like how what's the age bracket?
What's the age bracket? So when I first, so the age bracket for yes, when I first came here, it was 15 to 22. That year, we changed it to 16 to 22. We found that some people weren't actually ready for the emotions and everything that could come with worship and all that stuff. So that year, we had a vote to actually change the age range to 16 to 22.
Do you remember your first worship experience here? Can you tell us about that?
My first, I don't particularly remember my first worship experience, but I would say my first worship experience, I was not, in fact, spiritually mature enough to actually appreciate how good it could have been for me. But every single worship after that, the amount of emotional maturity and spiritual progression that I get from the island just increases so much with every day, every worship, every tiny experience or bond that I make on this island. A lot of this, just the conference in general, people discover so much about themselves just by being here and making the connections even before worship and the fulfillment you receive from it.
What was is there a memorable, if you share a memorable, something that's most memorable to you about, a moment either in worship or here on the island over the past couple of years? Is there a particular worship time that was moving for you, or?
There are two actual ones I can mention, and it's not like a specific memory, but it is a specific worship we do. We have two worships that are pretty memorable. One of them is actually going to happen tonight. That will be bridging for me tonight, which is so funny because a lot of these people that I have met, I haven't even known for a week yet. And I'm going to be crying like I will never see them ever again, even though I probably will within a couple months, which is actually insane, the progression. It's like you just mix this reaction that progresses the bonds that connect people here. I've cried for people that, even when I wasn't bridging, I'm like, I'm never going to see you again. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm going to see you, tomorrow. To people I barely know and feel like I've known for years. The other one is Power Shuffle and Quaker worship is what we do. That's a very, very emotionally impactful worship. That's kind of where everyone's build up throughout all the years, all of the terrible things and I'll specifically say for Quaker worship, it's where you can just speak your mind and say whatever you want, whatever's weighing on your heart, whatever's weighing on your psyche, you speak it. And that comes right after Power Shuffle, where there's a series of answers that, questions that you answer by walking on either side of the room, either answering yes or no, and whatever spot you pick between yes or no is like your level of yes, your level of no. And right in the middle is either you don't want to answer, I am completely neutral in the topic. So we go from that to just talking about the hardships in our life. It's very draining, but everyone always leaves that night feeling better. I've actually made sure of that. I talked to a lot of our new conferees this year. I was like, are you doing okay? I was like, I felt shitty before, but I feel better now after speaking my truth.
What do you get here through yes that you don't get anywhere else?
Besides making the connections that I've made here, this isn't just a vacation here, as much as it is a vacation here. It is forgetting about all your problems by also dealing with them here. I forget about all my problems, but I remove myself from the issue to deal with them in a very safe area. I get to relax, I get to learn about people, about experiences, about how I should conduct my way in life.
What have you most learned about yourself through coming to yes?
That's a very good question. I was actually really hoping you would. I learned how to be myself here. Before knowing the people here, I was a very different person. I tend to just actually mimic the people I was around before like really finding an identity, and here is where I found my identity. Like this is the real me here. This is one of my answers for Quaker worship. I am my favorite version of myself here. Period. Like this is me here is my favorite version of myself.
What does that mean, Kay? Give me an example, like if you could, like just even out, like, yeah.
Everyone has friends that they act certain ways around. Nobody acts the same way around everybody else. Here, I act around everyone the same. I am the most comfortable in the way I act with the people around me, and I feel like I am the most truthful of how I present myself when I'm here. And I don't feel like how I act is fake in any way when I am here. It's very relaxing and easygoing, and I feel my most normal.
Why is that important for youth? Why is this an important experience for you?
I feel like one of the biggest experiences for youth is discovering who you are. Not the way you see people and want to be like them. Finding yourself and being comfortable with that. Absolutely. Everybody wants to everybody wants to be cool, but I want them to be themselves. I don't want like everyone to be the same because they think that's cool. Like, I want diversity in the type of people I hang out with. If everyone's the same, then like there's no need to make new friends. I want everyone to be different, so I know I get this type of experience when I'm with this person because this is how they are and not like anybody else. Everyone's so genuine here.
What is it about the Yes experience, your experience, that allows you and your cohorts to be like completely themselves?
With the people who run this place and this very enclosed, safe atmosphere that we at Yes provide, makes sure everyone is inclusive, everyone's safe, this is the most judgment-free zone, even though Planet Fitness says like they got it. No, this is the most judgment-free zone. We have a very big LGBTQ plus, trans, like, name it. We have everybody here, and everyone is accepted for who they are here, no matter what.
Tell me the moment, if you could tell me a story of when you felt like, wow, like these are my peeps, or this is where I can really be the best version of myself, like, you know, is to the best of your ability. 'Cause part of it, I know you know this too, like storytelling is like, yeah, we were sitting on the rock, we were do-do-do-do-do, and I do-do-do-do-do. If there is can you, anything that speaks to you about feeling that inclusivity, or you responding to, or making that inclusivity happen?
Well, I can tell you about how I specifically make that inclusivity happen. I was co-running softball this year. So every year on island we have a softball game against the staff. They're known as the Pelicans. We call them the Pels. And with every game, we haven't won since 2008. We get kind of destroyed every single year, but that's okay because we always have a blast playing the game. I was coaching the softball game. I was co-coaching the softball game this year, and we did so much better than I thought we were gonna do. And even though I could have absolutely been less inclusive, coaching, not put people in, only put the best people in, shorten our batting list to only the best hitters. I could have done that, but I really didn't want to. And even though we didn't have like the all-star team playing, we still kind of did way better than I thought we were gonna do. And to me, that was way more fun than just being like, I'm sorry, you can't throw hard enough. You can't really hit the ball that well. It was way more fun going throughout the week, seeing everyone actually put a whole lot of work into trying to get good at a sport they haven't played before. That was so much more fun than just being like, all right, let's get the best dudes out here to kick some Pell ass.
What do you know about this tradition of voting for a chair and then in the water? What's that?
I don't actually know where the tradition started of either the chairs going in the water or forcibly grabbing them and throwing them in the water. I remember one year with that. we had a chair voted in. His name is Michael Costello, and that is a very athletic man. People probably chased him around for, I think, 3 miles before giving up because he did not want to go in that water. No, just could not catch him. He was gone, and yeah, he did not go in the water. Specifically with voting them in, we always like to give everyone the chance to continue this community past the people who bridge out. So I always thought it was a wonderful idea that new chairs get voted in every single year. Also, not being youth, and definitely in like the early 20s, late teen ages, we're a whole lot busier than people actually think we are. People got college, people have jobs. I worked 28 days straight before coming here. That wasn't fun. To have people, new chairs come in every single year, it makes sure every single year is fresh and new for everybody. It's never the same experience at all. I can tell you with absolute certainty, my experiences, although I appreciate every single one, nothing has ever been the same. And there's similarities, but it's not the same.
What about this family group? Tell us, what is family group and what do you do for it?
So, family groups is one of the 2 actual mandatory gatherings we have. We have one is morning meeting. Make sure you're alive. Make sure you're alive, you're well, you're practicing self-care. We care a lot that you care about yourself here. And family groups is the other one. We find that, well, this is my opinion. I'm really talking like I'm staff right now, but I've never been staff. I've always found that family groups is a good way of making smaller connections within the whole conference. It's very hard not to make friends here. And family groups makes it a whole lot harder to not make friends here. It's the group that we have up to, like, we've probably had 9 at the most in there when we were a little bit bigger. I had 5 in my family group this year. It's people you go to after dinner, you connect with, you tell them about your day. A very, very frequent prompt is, what's your high, what's your low? Talk about what happened today, if it's even possible for you to have a low on this island. I've had very few lows on this island, and I can tell you this week didn't even add any. Family group dinner is, since we spend specifically basically a whole week bonding with these people within our family group, we have little themes that each family group makes. So we have theme dinners every single night, and the theme of family group dinner is that you make up your own theme, and then you all dress up in your own theme. The family group I was in was Serene's Sexy Sinners. We invented a religion and decided to sin against that religion. Yeah.
So, for example, how did you dress?
How did we dress? So we made a cult where we worshipped the moon and then started worshipping the sun, and then we just kind of like made culty garb and like did face paint. That was really fun.
What's the tradition of going to Smutty Nose? Is that a tradition?
I wouldn't say that's a tradition. I've been to Smutty Nose twice in my entirety. I do really wish I'd been there. I do really wish I'd been there longer, or at least frequent it more. Coming to Star, it's not occupied. It's right over there. It's not really occupied besides the caretaker of the island. It's mainly occupied by the vicious seagulls that live there. It's honestly just a wonderful spot to explore. It having a whole nother island just right across from your front door on here, really just like broadens your whole area of exploration. It's not just how big this island is, it's more, this extra, there's over there. Hey, you didn't see everything here, go over there.
So what's the auction? What does it do? And what is this box then?
Yeah, so the auction, it is one of my favorite fundraisers. I have donated stuff to auction every single year. I've donated necklaces, I made books. I made books this year, I made necklaces this year. I made bullet earrings this year. Everyone loved those for some reason. Yeah, those sold pretty well. And in 2019, I got the box with two other conferees at the time, Jordan Paul and Danny Tiersha.
What is the box? The box.
The box. Yes, the box. It is history. It is history and just wacky stuff in there. I saw so many weird stuff in that box, and I added to that. I added my own little bit of history. I made sure people were remembered in that box. But I won't say anything further on what I put in there.
But to a stranger, like, what is the box? The box is like what, you don't have to say specifically if you can't what's in it, but what is the box and why is that such a tradition?
Yeah, it's just you.
The box.
Everything in just coming here every single year and seeing how much people have spent on that box is kind of insane. Like Lily said, when she first got the box, her and 3 more people spent $1,360 on it. I didn't spend nearly as much, but it was still a lot of money. But seeing like the desire that everyone else shows after wanting to know how much history is in that box just fuels what people want, and it was absolutely worth it when I got the box. The rule with the box is you take one thing and you put one thing in. It will never be the same. There has been stuff that's in the box that people will never know that was in the box, and people have, it's been 3 years since I've had the box, so there's stuff in there I don't even know what's in there anymore. So there's definitely new stuff in there. So it's the whole mystery in the history. Nobody knows how long the box has been going on for. I could ask some older people in the conference that have been in the conference. He probably doesn't even know how long the box has been going on. Decades. Literal decades. It's been going on for so long.
Kate, when you go home from Star Island, like, how do you incorporate what happens here on Star Island in your day-to-day life outside of the island?
When I go home, I try to hold on to the feeling of the last day, really. How much emotion that I get specifically on this day. I try to hold it with me. Personally, one thing I try to actually fix is I am a terrible communicator. And feeling the love of like these people that are gonna miss me hopefully will actually fuel me being a better communicator. And that is actually the biggest thing I hope to actually get out of this week is to not just let these bonds stay as they are. Everyone here will be friends forever. but friendships evolve as they age, and how a lot of my friendships go is when I don't see everyone for a long time, they stay the same, which is wonderful, but there's no maturity in our relationship because it doesn't change, because it always will. And actually, to be able to communicate and have my relationships evolve further than just how they developed on island is what I hope to get out of this week.
How important is it that you've had this opportunity at Yes to be or feel more yourself, experience more of who you are, step into leadership, right?
Being here is my most treasured experience. I would be just an insanely different person without the people I've met who have changed me to the person I am. I would be not the same at all. I like to think I would be a good person, but I don't think I would. The effect everyone has on how people act, become, everyone is their truest self here, and I am glad I get and have had just the best opportunity to be myself here. This is my greatest experience.
I've learned so much through making our documentary and now launching this podcast. I'm amazed by the dedication, time, and resources it takes to bring these powerful stories to life. We couldn't do it without you. If you'd like to help us keep sharing them with the world, please visit YRUU.org/donate. So again, it's YRUU.org/donate. Every contribution, big or small, truly makes a difference. Thank you for being part of this journey.
I'm good when you are.
Okay, good. So would you kindly state your name?
My name is Kerri Bell-Delgado, and I use she, they pronouns.
Excellent, thank you. And where are you from?
I'm from East Point, Georgia, and I am a member of the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Montclair in Montclair, New Jersey.
Is it illegal to ask her how old she is?
She's fine.
How old are you, and are you involved? How involved are you in your youth program?
So I'm 19, and I'm pretty involved in the youth program. I bridged with UU Montclair back in 2021, and this year I've helped out with their religious education program.
Could you explain what it means to bridge?
So bridging is when you bridge from youthhood to young adulthood you can do it with the church or a General Assembly, and I did it with the church. And they normally do like a little ceremony, and it's really special. You can't really describe it.
Can you try? So what was it like for you?
So we did it at Flower Communion, and so we held it outside, and Reverend Scott and Reverend Anya, and also Reverend Dolly, Casey Bell, they all did it. There were only 3 of us that bridged last year, and so we all got a book and a flower and a chalice keychain, and we also got a flower. And it was just like really nice. We got to hang out with each other, like kind of our big hurrah before we all went our separate ways.
Tell me about your your youth group is in Montclair, New Jersey?
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah. Would you explain how your participation in your youth group, and what do you call in your church? What do you call it? Do you call it youth group? Do you call it?
We call it the youth group at the church, and it's for I think 9th through 12th grade, or it could be 10th through 12th. I joined when I was in 11th grade, so that was pretty nice.
What did you like most about youth group?
So what I liked most about the youth group was that it wasn't like cliquey. It was like everybody talked to each other, and I have some really nice friends there. I'm a lifelong UU, and so I went to UU in Daytona Beach, Florida, and then first UU Wilmington, Delaware, and then UU Montclair. And so UU Montclair has really become like my home. I love that church a lot. I have friends that are outside of the UU faith, and we talk about a bunch of different things, and they always ask me questions about what it is to be a UU. And some of them have come to check out UU churches before, and some of them haven't, and that's okay. So what I say to them when they come check out the church is like, if you check it out once, you might want to do it 2 times. One when it's not like a big event, and then one when it is, so you can really see the difference. And check out like the religious education programs as well to get a feel for that.
So when they ask you about what is UU, what do you tell them?
So what I tell them is that it's not one like belief. Everybody can have their own beliefs, and there are 8 different principles, and even though not everybody agrees on them, they're still like part of grounding. It's like something that's really important.
Kerri, do you, before we sat down and roped you into this interview, had you ever heard of YRUU?
I've heard of YRUU once or twice before this interview, but I didn't really know much about it at all.
Did you know what it stood for?
I didn't know what YRUU stood for, and then I did a little bit of research, and then I figured it out.
Have you heard about it from anybody else, or when was the first time you heard like, oh, what is this YRUU thing?
I think the first time I heard about it was after like a General Assembly. I don't remember how old I was, but then it was like, I'm gonna go figure out what this is. So that was the first time I heard about it.
Do you have any thoughts about it, or do you have any curiosity about UU youth programming before you, or?
Yeah, so I do have a lot of curiosity about youth programming before me. I started the youth programming at General Assembly back in 2021, and then that's when I bridged with Synergy. And so, but I didn't really know much about it before then.
What do you get from your youth group and experience as a youth in UU that you may not get at school or in other places?
So what I get from my youth group, we just have like that sense of community, like family, and it's like a really carefree place. We can talk about anything, and it's like in that space I know like I'm accepted for my faith, which is not something that you get a lot at school. I mean, coming from my school, we have a lot of UUs, but we all had our own like social circles, so we didn't really interact much with each other outside of like saying hi in the hallways or stuff like that.
And what does it mean for you to have that experience as a teenager?
So what it meant for me to have that experience was like meeting people, like other BIPOC people, other LGBTQ people, and just getting to talk with them and see what their experiences were. And then traveling back and forth from Montclair to Delaware, it was really interesting because I didn't go to school with the Montclair kids. So just hearing their stories about their school, and I'm like, oh, this is my school. This is what we do differently. So it was nice.
Tell me about the gatherings of your youth group. What games did you play? Any traditions? Yeah, you can keep talking to Naomi.
So one of the traditions for my youth group that we did was Rosebud and Thorn, which is one good thing that happened, one not so good thing that happened, and then one thing that you're looking forward to. And that's something that I've continued to do with religious education as well. We also just like, sometimes we would text each other like, oh, hey, I'm in Montclair. Do you want to go hang out? Just like hanging out with each other outside of youth group. So that was really nice.
Is there anything else you want to share about being a youth in the Unitarian Universalists?
Definitely get involved with the youth groups. And then for the young adults who are bridging or have bridged, try and get involved with the church, whether that's helping out in like religious education or like any way you can.
And why would someone get involved?
Someone would get involved because, for me, I got involved because I wanted to give back, and also I really liked the church, and I just wanted to help them because they helped me.
Hi everyone, it's Lindsay. I wanted to jump in here to tell you that we are having a con-inspired connective retreat November 20th to the 22nd on Cape Cod in Massachusetts. This is co-directed by myself and Reverend Jason Leiden, with our weekend musician Matt Meyer. Many of the people you will hear on this podcast plan to be in attendance and even help lead some of the activities. We are taking reservations now. When you head to our website, YRUU.org, click on Connective Retreat. It's time to connect. See you there.
My name is Atticus Fisher, and I've been involved in YRUUP since I became a freshman in high school in 2019.
And what is YRUUP?
YRUUP stands for Young Religious Unitarian Universalists of the Pacific. So I joined YRUUP when I was a freshman, and my first retreat was right around my first couple days of high school. And it was what followed the MUGS program, and MUGS was where I made most of my friends, and then it just sort of felt like a natural transition to move on to YRUUP. And since then I went to 2 retreats, and then maybe it was 3, but I think it was 2 retreats, and then COVID happened, and then online we tried to do a bunch of online gatherings, like a lot through online like Zoom and Discord, and I became a leader. I got elected to become the registrar who sends out emails, so I got experience sending emails out to like 300 people, which was a big deal. And then now I'm the social political action chair for YRUUP. And since then we've had, now that COVID, people have been vaccinated and boosted, we've been able to have more real retreats again, where at the most recent one, masking was still required, but we were able to actually spend the night together indoors. Because at the other one that we've done 2 retreats since COVID has calmed down some. One of them was camping outside, and the other one was sleeping indoors. So it's been almost back to normal, and that's been really cool. But when COVID was higher, we were doing these masked get-togethers at parks, and the one that I primarily organized was in Marin. It was at this beautiful park overlooking the city, and it was it was on a hillside. It just went straight downhill, and it was right on the water. I don't remember what the name of the park was, but it was gorgeous.
What does having a community like this mean to you?
So what I've always said about YRUUP is that I love how when you're there, it's like no one's judging you, because in middle school and high school, it's such an exclusive environment where just people want to, get themselves higher in the social ranking. But it felt like everyone at these places is just so much more mature than in school, because everyone cares about including others and just spreading love, and that's not something that I see with everyone at a high school, and it's just really refreshing.
Why is that important, to be in an environment where you're not judged?
So to be in an environment when you're not judged is really important, because when you're in regular school, it feels like you are scared to be everything that you want to do, and it's scary to say everything that you would want to say, or just dance if you want to dance, or that kind of thing. And when you're at a place like YRUUP, you're able to just do whatever you want, and just you don't have to feel constrained to fit in, because people will accept you. And it's really special. It's really special because everyone trusts each other, and relates with each other, and we all have like our common values, and we're all like politically pretty similar. And so it's nice because you have people that share your views, and you don't have to worry about what you do coming back to like haunt you later on if you like embarrass yourself. It's like no big deal. It's really nice.
I didn't mention that the district tried to do youth programming of their own. Once YRUUP left, the district tried to do like youth run programming, and Atticus went to some of those conferences.
They were way less good.
You might talk about how they're different, but they came to where the district wanted to do it versus YRUUP.
All right. What's the difference between a conference in the district and the YRUUP?
So YRUU. I think the first one that I went to after I bridged from Muggs, for me, of all the UU stuff I've done, Muggs was the most special, because in middle school was a really tough time, and I didn't feel very safe at school, and Muggs was really special because I just felt so included. And that, I think inclusivity is really where the specialness of these programs lie. And for me, so Muggs meant the most to me, because in high school I've done things like join marching band and choir, where I found communities that I feel almost, if not more, included, just like at YRUUP, because you get to see them on a daily basis, and it's been actually really miraculous to find that sort of community in a high school. But I didn't have that in middle school, and so Muggs was the most special. And so when I bridged Muggs, I was really excited to join the high school version, and there were two, and it felt like they were almost competing groups. There was the one put on by the district. YRUUP is different from YRUU because it's independently run and it's not associated with the district. So the one that happened to be first was the one that's run by the district. And I had fun, but I didn't like it as much, because the main reason is because it was entirely run by adults. And it felt like adults were telling you what to do and where you had to be, and they were scheduling it, and they were like, okay, now everyone is going to do this. So there were a couple pros. Because adults were running it, we were able to do more complicated things. Like there was a whole cooking night, and we all had our own ingredients to like cook, and it was like a competition. But then when I went to YRUUP, it blew me away, because I had only been to the district run one, which was adult run, and then YRUUP was entirely youth led, and they think the youth were more casual. They understood that not everyone would want to do everything, and it felt less enforced and a lot more like free structured. And it also was just so much more relaxed and more fun, because when the youth were in charge of it, it became much more like, it felt less like school and more like we're all here to have a good time together and build a community of ourselves, which is really hard to do when you have an adult telling you where you have to be. And so the YRUUP blew me away, and I like instantly knew which one I wanted to like really dedicate myself to, because there's so much more potential in YRUUP. And in my opinion, the youth that were running YRUUP are just as capable as the adults, because it's not like you're trying to, run a political campaign or something that's a big deal. It's like you're just trying to put on a weekend gathering to get kids to have more friends and get real connections that strengthen their beliefs in Unitarian Universalism and their beliefs in each other toward a common goal of a better world. And I think that youth are just as capable of doing that as adults. And I know that seems hard to believe at first because you haven't seen it, and you really get to see it at YRUUP. It's amazing. At the YRUUP, they actively encourage youth leadership. There are adults there because they're legally required to be, but the adults' job is pretty much just sit back and let the youth run the show. They just have to be there because they have to be, but a lot of them were just like relaxing and talking and building their own connections while youth ran the show. At the district run event, it was like they did not want youth to have any leadership role at all. All the adults felt like they should be leading it, and so they did, even if it was clear that they didn't really know what to do to make the youth happiest, and they didn't really want youth to take over.
Atticus, if I were one of those adults that did that in the district, what would you want to say to me? Like, if you were going to make a pitch of like we've got this, you know? How would you do that? Like, what do you need from adults?
So I think I would say that we're all working toward the same goal, and I think that the adults would need to, the adults of the district-run events need to step back and ask the youth what they actually want to happen and see how that works. And I also think it's really hard to build these communities because, once again, we all have the same goal of, getting to know each other and become strong friendships. And when certain congregations blocked and prevented their kids from going to YRUUP out of loyalty to the district, that's not only harmful toward their kids, social lives and connections as UUs, but it's also harmful in that it's creating divides in a Unitarian Universalist community where there's no need for any divides. And I would ask the adults to just trust that the Unitarian Universalist youth are capable, and to just give them a chance by watching and not interrupting and seeing how it is run and how everything is worked out and planned and how it can be done just as well, if not better, as when the adults run it. So I guess I would ask them to step back and watch. So one moment that really sticks with me is from my second retreat, which was in February of 2020, so right before COVID. And it was called Elections Con because it's when we picked a new slate for council. And at the time, it was brand new pretty much. And so I decided that I couldn't run for council, even though I like leadership, because I was so new. And so I decided to join the NomCom, which is nominating committee. And that took a lot of my time away from the retreat, but it was so worth it. It was at the Berkeley congregation, which is beautiful. It's on top of a hillside that overlooks the entire Bay Area. And we met in this loft room, and the NomCom gets unlimited snacks, and it's just like, it was a very plush room. There were a lot of pillows and couches. And there were 10 of us. A lot of people who were bridging out because they obviously couldn't run, but they cared about who would step up. And they would have positions that they were going for, and then we would conduct interviews with so I conducted 5 to 10 interviews and take notes, and we would agree on predetermined questions to ask them. And then we'd go back and we'd discuss them all, and what really stood out to me was how everyone was just so loving toward each other. We knew that some people weren't right for it, but as we discussed it, we were respectful to everyone, even if it was obvious that they weren't qualified to take a leadership role. And it was just so nice. It was because everyone cares and everyone likes each other. And so it was actually kind of hard because everyone, wants everyone to succeed and be happy, but there, some people are more fit than others for certain roles. And so it was just refreshing because I've been in places where you have to decide things before, and it was nice where everyone just is happy and it's not actively working against someone and not critiquing them. We're pointing out ways that they're not prepared, but it's not like they're at fault. So I just come back from the retreats and I'm tired because it's hard to get any sleep. And then I go to school the next day and I see all the people who have all their, poker faces on, and they aren't genuine. And it's a little bit sad. It's a little bit disappointing because it's you just were there and you see how cool people could be if they opened up, and they aren't because it's high school and they have reputations and whatever. And I think that it's just sort of a downer because you were just there and it was lovely and you are all full of happiness that there are great people your age in the world. And then you come back and it's none of these other people have seen that. None of these other people have been awakened. And so they are still being superficial and not genuine. And I think this was more prevalent in middle school, to be honest, in Mugs, because in middle school, people have shields, and I went to a smaller middle school where there was less, ironically, the smaller middle school was a larger community, because in the large middle schools, I feel like there are a lot of smaller communities. But now I go to a large high school, and I've found myself in smaller communities where there are communities just like YRUUP. So YRUUP is still a really special place, but it's not like such a contrast anymore from what it used to be when I was at Mugs. And so it's not the same way where it's oh, we're back in the darkness when I go back to high school, because in high school there are still people there who don't care what they are popular in their own way, but they're not like the stereotypically popular kids think of them. So I think the main reaction of how I'd say that YRUUP and Mugs play into my, when I return to real life, because that's what it feels like. It feels like you're returning to real life after that. And I would say it plays a role it's like when you get back from Hawaii and you have to go back into the office. And, it's back to, the daily routine of waking up and your slow commute and just sadness. And you understand that you don't have to live that way. You could live waking up whenever you want to with a pina colada, but you are now forced back into your normal life. And it's sort of just that sort of disappointing feeling.
So, who are you in the YRUUP conference? If we were to go there and watch and from, as like a fly on the wall, who are you?
I'm not really the main character. I'm just sort of one in a crowd, but I have my own friends and I get along with everybody, and I can be funny and make jokes, but I'm not the main character. If they were to make a movie about one of the conferences, I wouldn't be the protagonist. I'd probably be a side character. I don't think it's anything about if I'd like to be or not. It's just that I just happen to not be.
This podcast was produced by Linden Tree Productions.
The interview was conducted by Naomi Cooker and
Lindsay Cattle-LaPointe.
Music featured by Scott Murphy and Matt Meyer.
For more information, go to yruu.org. That's the question all spelled out, yruu.org.
Don't forget our documentary, YRUU, is available to watch now by renting or buying it through Vimeo.
Please subscribe and review this podcast. It will really help more folks find this content.